So for today's video, I decided that we're going to go ahead and take a look at a monster that I have not killed in a very long time, and that is the Brutal Black Dragon. Now, I have made a video on this before, but that was like over 3 years ago, and back then I was using the Twisted Bow, which unfortunately I don't currently own it right now, but that's fine. We're going to try it out with melee. So I'm going to be using a similar gear setup that I use for Ruined Dragons, and we're going to take it over there to the Black Dragons. So yeah, this is what we're using. We can take a quick look. We have full Justiciar. We have a Dragonfire shield. I was debating whether to bring the Avernic Defender or this shield. In the end, I said, why not? We'll just bring the shield. Rada's Blessing 4, Amulet of Torture, Infernal Cape, Dragon Hunter Lance, Ferocious Gloves, Primordial Boots, and the Berserker Ring imbued. As for the inventory, I have my claws for the special attack. Now this does mean that whenever we equip the claws, we lose the protection from the shield, but we will be using protect from magic as well as the extended anti-fire. And I think those two together still negate the Dragonfire Breath, so we should still be safe when using the Dragon Claws. I have my Max Cape for teleports back to a house. You can just replace this with anything that can take you to a place to restore your stats, whether that's house tablets or a Ring of Dueling to restore at Castle Wars, stuff like that. As for the potions, I have a 2-dose Divine Super Combat Potion, 1 Extended Anti-Fire, 3 Prayer Potions, and 10 Shark. I might adjust this depending on how much I need after I do my first trip, but for now I think this should be okay. And we also have a Rune Pouch to store some of the Rune Drops. Without further ado, let's jump right in. So I'll be using my cape to teleport to my house, where I have a mounted Xerix Talisman. You will have to be using a Xerix Talisman for this. I mean, I guess you don't have to, but it's pretty helpful. I configured it to take me to the Inferno, the Xerix Inferno, that is. And from here, we can just run east. Now right here is the entrance to the Brutal Black Dragons. I do believe this is closed in the beginning. If you've never actually been to this area, you do have to go to, where is it? Over here, you can teleport to Xerix Heart to enter the Catacombs of Korend. And then from the altar, you make your way up here to the Skeletons, Hellhounds, and then over here to the Brutal Black Dragons. And then from here, you can go up to unlock the shortcut. So whenever we go down the rock shortcut that you see right here, it will put us in this little area. So this is where they're at. So just something that I wanted to point out is most of the time melee does seem like a better option GP wise, like in terms of like even Vorkath. I don't know if it still is, but for a very long time melee was better than range because you don't have to pay for like range supplies like arrows and stuff. But with this setup, we are using food. We are using a good bit of prayer potions as well. And we're not going to be getting as much kills as we would with the Twisted Bow like in our first video. But to be fair, this setup is a lot more attainable for most people, especially when you compare it to the alternative of what we had, which was a T-Bow. It's a lot more expensive than this entire setup. So yeah, although we might not be making as much money, at least this setup is cheaper and easy to start, you know, killing Brutal Black Dragons. Also, as far as food goes, we're actually doing pretty decent on it, so I might bring less. I might bring 5 instead of 10, because our inventory is already filling up pretty quickly. Another thing that I would recommend bringing is Alch Runes. They do drop a good number of alchable items, so if you are planning on staying here for a long time, you might as well bring that. But like I say for all of my videos, I don't like alching items unless it's like a huge video, just because I'd rather see all the items towards the end. So yeah, we'll be keeping these items like the Dragon Longsword. That's a pretty interesting item that I'm not used to seeing, a Rune Hasta. Also, just based off of our first trip, I think we'll also bring 1 less prayer potion. So I think the new setup will look something like 1 dose of extended anti-fire, 2 doses of divine super combat potion, 2 prayer potions, and 5 sharks. I will say though that in the beginning I was worried about how much damage I'd be taking in this setup. Normally with range you can attack them from a distance and you really don't need to bring any food down here. And whenever I first dropped down in here, the first attack I received from one of these guys was like a 20. So I was like, okay, I might need to bring more food, but it looks like in this setup, they don't really do too much damage to us. Really, their only attacks is melee, magic, and Dragonfire. We're already protecting against Dragonfire with the potion and the shield. As for magic, we are protecting against that. And then as for melee, well, we just have really high defensive stats in this gear setup. So yeah, well, we're not really taking too much damage here. I might even bring less than 5 food. So I'm looking at some of the drops that these Brutal Blacks have, and they actually have a bunch of neat drops. They have a bunch of dragon equipment that they can drop, like dragon plate legs, plate skirt, dragon spear. Those are all really rare though. They're a 1 in 512 drop. And then of course you have the dragon med helm, dragon longsword, and dragon dagger. Those are at a 1 in 128. So yeah, these guys are actually really nice for GP. Pretty AFK. They're basically rune dragons, but they don't do nearly as much damage. So yeah, not bad. Also, you can get dark totem pieces, so that's cool if you're, you know, hunting for the Skotos pet. I wouldn't mind being down here for quite some time and just farming these guys. And even back then, like when they first came out, I think they were even more worth to farm because they actually had a chance of dropping the dragon full helm. It was a really rare drop, but you know, I mean, I'd rather kill these guys than mythical dragons. They have better GP per hour and they also don't hit nearly as hard. But that drop was removed shortly after. I think it was removed like back in 2017. So it has been some time. So even though these guys don't have the dragon full helm, they do have another drop that is extremely rare. Not worth as much, but still a nice item to get, and I wouldn't mind farming these guys to get it. It is the Draconic Visage, and it has a 1 in 10,000 drop rate. Besides that, you can also get clues here. Hard clues are a 1 in 128, and elites are a 1 in 250. I'm actually really surprised to see that they have both of those clues on here and not just one. I guess if I wanted to just casually farm master clues, I could do it here. That way I don't have to worry about killing hellhounds in the wilderness. I can just farm here until I get both an elite and a hard, and then pull the medium and easies from impling jars. So I might actually consider doing that if I am in the market to hunt some master clues. I just received a dragon spear. Now normally you might freak out and be like, wow, there goes all my RNG. I got it on a worthless item, but I did mention earlier that the Dragon Spear is one of the drops that you can get from the uniques here, and it's a 1 in 512 drop. Funny thing is, however, you can actually receive the Dragon Spear from the rare drop table as well, and that would be a 1 in... It says 1 in 20,000, but then it says 1 in 2,000 right next to it, so I'm not really sure which one it is. So it's 1 in 20 normally, but I think it's 1 in 2k when you have the Ring of Wealth imbued. Or I guess just the Ring of Wealth equipped, I think. Perfect timing. A third adventurer shows up with just 1 minute to go. Yeah, I think any more than 2, it gets a little crowded here. I think at that point, someone might wait for a dragon to spawn, so. Yeah. Like right here, I have to wait for the other one to spawn. But that's fine, no big deal. Gives me time to pick up all the loot, and here we go. Looks like this will be the last dragon that we kill as the timer expires. There we go. Let's go ahead and pick up our loot and do a total price check of everything we got. So after 1 hour of killing these brutal black dragons, this is the entire loot tab. Let's go ahead and do a price check on that. A total of about 1.4 mil in loot, so not bad. This is, of course, from 53 brutal black dragons killed, so pretty big difference between this and Tebow. I believe in our Tebow video 3 years ago, we ended up getting like 70 kills an hour, so it, you know, you do get a good bit more, but once again, that Tebow is extremely expensive, especially right now. I think it's close to like 1.4 bill, so yeah, this your setup is a lot more affordable. Let's go ahead and head over to the GE and sell everything off. So just to sell everything off as quickly as possible, I'm throwing it in there for a lower price than market, but I don't advise doing that, especially if you've been camping these guys for a long time. Definitely put it in there for at least market price, or maybe even a little bit over, and just let it sit for a while. You'll end up making more money that way. All right, there we go. Everything's sold off, and that leaves us with a total value of 1.3 mil. So yeah, not bad. So if we take a look at the cost of supplies, which was just the prayer potions, super combat potions, extended anti-fire, and the sharks, that gives us 140,282 GP. Subtract that from the money we made, which was 1,373,130 GP. That gives us a grand total profit of 1,232,848 GP after 1 hour of killing brutal black dragons. Not bad. They're definitely still a good moneymaker. I'd say anything over 1 mil is pretty good, especially when you consider how AFK these guys are. I wouldn't mind grinding out a Draconic Visage here. It's very chill. So Yeah, pretty good. I just want to say thanks for checking out the video, and thank you to all of my channel members. Once again, thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed, and as always, I'll catch you guys in the next episode.